It's a first-time trip for Saturday Night Thunder as they head up to the East Coast. Last week, we got things started in California, a thrilling finish, and the all-time winningest driver getting another. This time around, we have 30-plus looking to bring it back to action for our second race of the 2026 A season. Welcome back to SNT tonight. This is the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and 120 miles of great racing are coming up at the Magic Mile itself. Leading the championship is Jordan Kuntz over Chase Schaefer, and it is a tight spread of points down the top 10 with opportunities for things to switch over big time. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting for coverage of today's race. I'll be your host, commentating and producing. I am David Kreutz. It's great to be back knowing I missed last week's racing, but the finish, if you didn't see it already, go back to our broadcast, the Auto Club race just last Saturday, and look it over. Jordan Kuntz coming out with a squeaker to take victory. There's Braden Hunsicker. He spins it around. He's one of the 12 that have taken a time so far. We'll keep a watch on who's on the racetrack right now. This is the man to look after. Already at the top of the points, he's taking his one and only qualifying lap right now. That's Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz comes out with another season-opening win, something that he's now done in back-to-back seasons, and I believe 3 of the last 4. He's a driver who is not only remarkably consistent, but he knows how to get to victory lane. 2 wins last season. It took him all season to get there. His first season without making the playoffs was last season as well. He was the first driver eliminated, looking to avoid that fate today, of course, with another good run. But he qualifies 15th on time. Not a good run. Going to put him at the back of the lineup right now while Vinny Tigner goes 3rd with a lap speed 120.73. Right now, James Thurston is head and shoulders above everyone else. The only driver with an average speed above 121 miles an hour, Malachi Drake, is back on the racetrack, a name we haven't heard in a long time. Drake, on and off driver in SNT for the past 3 years, is back tonight. Watch out for the number 90 on your screen as he is set to take hold for the first time since 2024. He's one of now less than 10 drivers who haven't taken the time. There is Chase Schaefer. Schaefer tonight is driving the 13 on your screen, the 41 according to timing and scoring, and the 99 up here on the ticker. I don't really know why he's running the 13. Either way, Schaefer with a new look. It's been a while since we've seen him on track. One of the best drivers in closing out a season. He's gotten himself some strong mile-and-a-half runs. He's putting it together in the Monster Designs Ford Mustang. Right now, he's going bad fast, but he skates up the track. Coming out of turn 4, out of 33 drivers, Chase Schaefer clocks in. That's going to be a time at 30.603. That lap is good for 7th on the board with 35 seconds left on the timer. Looking to see if anyone else is taking a time, and right now, nobody except for Malachi Drake. Drake out of turn 4 gets a second chance at his qualifying lap. That time is going through, and it looks like now he'll put his time lap in. Not enough time to finish it. Malachi Drake, the final driver on the board. It'll be James Thurston and Matthew Weeks, 1st and 2nd, with less than 10 seconds remaining, and it looks like that will be the way it goes. Officially scoring the 96 as your pole sitter with an average speed of 121.3 miles an hour and a time 30.392 seconds. James Thurston, by far fastest in qualifying, and he will take the pole position for our first SNT race here in New Hampshire. Great qualifying effort for Thurston, a driver who's known to be good here in Loudon. We'll talk more about his success as the race goes on. He's a driver with a good track record at this venue, and you can see Thurston right there, right behind Cameron Chandler. He's getting on his way right now for 5 minutes of additional practice. Thurston one of multiple drivers under the PSISM banner. That's Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport. Tonight, no official teammates on the racetrack, but don't be surprised if he works with that man right there. James, of course, knowing Chase Schaefer very well. But one thing about these two is they might be friendly to start, but they are never friendly to end the night. A lot of times, these two race each other, it ends up in contact, and it just comes down to the point being, they're two of the strongest drivers we have in the field, two of the most competitive, and they've known each other for about half a decade now in iRacing. They've got a relationship on track, and it means a lot. They're two drivers who came in as FTN imports to SNT. They rode in the IORA Cup Series, the FORL Cup Series, and now they're here. There's Braden Hunsicker getting on his way, Tyler Sevier for Krampus Creations, first-time winner last season at Daytona. Chandler still chasing after a multi-win season, finally got his first win at Bristol last season, and the rookies really able to break out at the tail end of last year's campaign, with Hunsicker and Cameron Chandler finding success as we saw a huge blowover down the back straight. Daniel Silla there, Connor James, Cal-Off Deitch Racing fielding many a driver. Something to keep in mind, big teams coming into the picture tonight. And you'll see the number 4 of Connor James right now, one of the very few international drivers getting his time in. James qualified 9th. And speaking of that, let's get to know your entire starting grid, because I'll tell you this much, we've got another big one. Coming in today at 33 drivers registered, this is how they line up. And on the inside of row number 1, the fastest by far, it is James Thurston. Thurston takes P1 inside of row number 1, a 30.392 second lap. And beside him is Matthew Weeks in second, 30.506 on the board, about a tenth and a second behind. It will be Christian Herklotz in third place in the 42. He'll take it P3 with Vinny Tigner beside him in fourth, 4,000 slower. 22 is Cole Wilson. Wilson is fifth. Braden Hunsicker goes P6 with Chase Schaefer and Jack Drucker alongside each other. Schaefer 7th, Jack Drucker for his first full-time campaign. He's a rookie. He's there in the 8th spot. Jordan Kuntz is going to end up in 10th, and he'll be alongside Connor James. James takes P9. 11th place will be Rick Spencer-Walt, with 12th being Cameron Chandler. Asher Bunkley will then be in the spot right after. That's 13th. And the 78 tonight, Greg Holes in 14th. 79, Ashton Miller wraps up the top 15 with Daniel Silla just behind him in 16th. Kenneth Correll goes 17th, and it'll be CJ Erdman in the 18th spot. 19th is Henry Kaloff, and the 54 of Robinson. That's Bradley Robinson wraps up the top 20. Just after that, it'll be the number 02 of Thompson, a new driver on the scene, Knox Thompson, alongside Matthew Fastnot with Michael Deitch, Chris Tripp, and John Meeks wrapping up the top 25. Tyler Sevier goes 26th, and the last driver to take a time is Jerry LaPlante from Canada. He'll go 27th. Aiden Donahue, Malachi Drake, Carter Casey to 30th, with your final 3 drivers being Paul Bogensberger, Jamie Lockwood, and Roger Sevier. A 33 driver lineup from top to bottom. Talent, some you may have never seen before, some who are coming back after years of hiatus. All things said and done, the leading man will be James Thurston. He'll take the field to the starting grid in less than a minute's time as practice and qualifying lines up for your second race of the 2026 A season. Half-a-mile circuit. Not tonight, a little bit longer. Speaking of short tracks, we'll talk about the schedule a little later in the going. Last week, a 2-mile venue in Fontana. This week, the mile track here in New Hampshire. Our first short track of the season going to be coming very late in the schedule. That's North Wilkesboro. This New Hampshire track is really one of a kind, though. There's no other circuit that's exactly a mile in length with this style. There is the Milwaukee Mile, but it is nowhere near as long. A different format and a different look for Loudon, New Hampshire, and a track that is very much one of a kind. Let's talk about some conditions before we get things started today as well. Temperature, ambient temp is 76 degrees. It's back down now, and the race conditions are 67 degrees. Track temperature is 96 Fahrenheit, however, a lot warmer, but still not scorching. It's going to work out in the drivers' favors tonight as they don't have to worry about tires burning up extensively. We've seen temperatures of above 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that happens, these drivers tend to snap loose on exit. That will not be the case today, at least as we're looking at it. Relative humidity is low, coming in at about 20%, and it's mostly cloudy skies, although right now the sun is peeking out. So, conditions are favorable. Drivers shouldn't have to worry too much. It becomes a game of skill as the race goes on. You'll see the field lined up now. James Thurston with his brand new look. Blue, white, gray, not colors that are very synonymous with his previous racing years, but a refresh going into another successful season of action. That's the goal, and of course a big goal for James Thurston is that he wants to be the one that digs in and finally gets to the championship. He has been remarkably close over the past two seasons. He had the best season of all drivers until the playoffs in the 2025 A campaign. Matthew Weeks was able to find a way and take himself to the championship. He might be the biggest rival for Thurston in terms of going after the title again, but don't be too surprised who else is due to creep up. Jordan Kuntz, not the best qualifying effort for him, but he finds himself still in the top 10. Jack Drucker burst onto the scene last season, got his first career win in only 4 attempts, and now coming out of the Monday Night Integrity Ignite Series where he fought for Rookie of the Year honors there, he'll be among the many looking for that same title in this league. I wouldn't be too surprised if Jack is the man to get it, but he still has a lot of tight competition around him going for that award. 33 in the field tonight, all of which going all the way down now to Roger Sevier with us to start. There is Henry Kaloff in the 63, and it looks like we've got everyone with us. 120 laps, 120 miles, which means that if we do go under green, this should be a one-stop race. Shouldn't be a too difficult thing to manage when it comes down to strategy. That all depends, of course, on what these guys are able to do with themselves in terms of keeping it clean. New Hampshire doesn't have a lot of banking. These drivers have to rely on getting to the optimal line. Generally, that is the inside. Sometimes we see drivers even take it down to the apron. We'll see if that ends up being the case today. James Thurston has been, by and large, much faster than all drivers so far today, qualifying more than 1/10 of a second ahead of the field on speed. Now let's figure out if he can back that up as we go racing once again. Green flags out for the first time in SNT history at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Thurston dives low. He's already ahead. The field rings out through 1 and 2, and we are officially green, green, green. Big contact, big trouble, back of the field. The call is yellow. Lap 1 caution, and we've got an incident involving Chris Tripp, among others. Here is an immediate yellow flag. Let's see what happened. Replay of this most recent incident. 4 wide behind Tripp, but it begins with contact to the number 92 just ahead. So let's take a close-up on what caused it here, as it looks like it was Matthew Fastnot close to Asher Bunkley, and Bunkley one of the first to go sliding, and the backup happens just after. We'll take a closer look watching from the start of the incident. I think part of the problem here is what you're seeing. Asher Bunkley with some clear connection troubles. That doesn't help anyone, and I think that caused part of the problem. Bradley Robinson was right behind as this happened, and Bunkley ends up getting contact, goes up the track off Ashton Miller. Bradley Robinson gets backed up. Matthew Fastnot, Chris Tripp all collect each other. Fastnot hits another driver as that happens, and it looks like they will get away. That was the 91 of LaPlante. Nevertheless, Fastnot, Tripp, Asher Bunkley, Bradley Robinson, Jarry LaPlante, and it looks like a few other drivers just getting away with it, including John Meeks. Want to take a look on board with Meeks there because the heart of the incident looks to have happened right in front of him, and he only just got away. Watch this. Michael Deitch also right there in the 17 Impact Chevrolet. Very patient. John Meeks able to get on the brakes immediately, react, get out, and that's going to gain him 3 spots even though he slowed himself down. So, very early yellow flag, and the call on the field was quick, so we will get things going again at lap number 5. That is your first caution of the day. James Thurston is still leading. Biggest mover in the top 10 is Chase Schaefer. Schaefer goes from 7th to 4th. And every driver in the top 10 is still in the top 10. Just some shuffling as Schaefer is able to gain 3 right off the bat. Big moves for Chase Schaefer as he tries to get closer now to Thurston and company. Looks like Carter Casey, the only driver not to take the green flag tonight. Casey going to be working the role of race control. And so with the field that we have, he's going to have to take the night off. 32 got to the green flag. Last of which now is Asher Bunkley. Everyone on the lead lap as the pace car sets sail to the inside. And we're back on our way. Green flag's out now as it will be leading Chase Schaefer, James Thurston. He's the leading man above all. And just behind him now is Cole Wilson, who gets the drop on the 13. Matthew Weeks goes high. They're pretty tight right now through 1 and 2, but they'll get away, and they are still clean and green coming through the back straight. Nicer and smoother to start this one off now. First restart is going to give us what we wanted, a clean launch. And now Chase Schaefer sees the yellow flag. Caution's out. It's going to involve, among others, the 91 of Jarry LaPlante and Matthew Fastnot. Let's take a look. Oh, contact off of Paul Bogensberger. Right there, and he gets up into Matthew Fastnot, and then gets Jarry LaPlante again. Looks like the 77 able to skate through, but it starts with Paul Bogensberger. Let's take a look at slow-mo inside the cockpit to see what happened there. So Paul just misjudging the corner and sending LaPlante up the track. It looked like he was able to save it, actually, only until Fastnot got that tag, and LaPlante was hit again. The 91 maybe with minimal damage, but Fastnot clearly hit there and clearly hit bad. All right, we'll pull it back to the one-time speed. And you'll see it again. Up the track. It looked like the 91 had saved it, only to get hit once more. Take a look from the rear view here. Bogensberger gets that contact and then is tagged. Now he phased through Matthew Fastnot, which means that he might have gotten away with less damage than had they made solid contact. We'll see if that ends up being a significant deal, as you can see a little bit of crumple on the right front. Fastnot, Chris Tripp, Tyler Sevier, Bogensberger, LaPlante, Asher Bunkley, those on pit road right now. And the 91 is going to roll out ahead of all of them. Get back to work. Second caution in 8 laps. So far, troubles have not been from solo spins off the corners, which is a common thing we see here at New Hampshire. But so far, anyway, it has come down to multi-car contact. We'll head back green at lap 10 now. James Thurston, still your leader. Right after him is going to be the number 41 of Chase Schaefer. Schaefer going to find his way up to second, and he is the biggest mover inside the top 10 so far. Jack Drucker, the only driver who started inside the top 10, who is no longer there. He is in 11th. Just a little bit of shuffling back and forth in these very small green flag runs. Drivers on the lead lap. Roger Sevier and Matthew Fastnot, the only drivers off for the time being. Fastnot with some big damage, and you can see that front side is crumpled. Hopefully, he will get some of that solved before we get to the nitty-gritty of this race. Definitely hurts to get wrecked early, because one of these runs, these guys are going to figure it out, and we will hopefully see them go for a longer stretch. Down to the inside goes the iRacing pace car. It is green flag racing again for Chase Schaefer and James Thurston. Thurston bolts off, and he gets the lead again, only for Schaefer now to dive to the inside. In an immediate move, he's going to try to go lower before Thurston does. James is still going to get the edge, but Cole Wilson now is really fighting that Schaefer car. Battle for second is about to get intense. Matthew Weeks right behind, and he's got a great view of what's going to become of this fight for the race lead. Wilson is down on the inside. Weeks is now back on Schaefer. Top four separated big, but that's largely because James Thurston is now out in the way, several car lengths up. Take a look on board right now with your defending race winner, Jordan Kuntz. Thurston has something figured out in New Hampshire. That's without a doubt, and I think it's going to be coming down to whether or not he makes a mistake tonight or if he gets some damage. Kuntz right now coming down through the front straight and watching a tight group ahead of him, but now he's got to watch his inside. He's got one man down low. That is Vinny Tigner. Tigner is now going to get a shot to the inside, and he'll look to take that pass. Not going to get it there. Jack Drucker instead gets a second shot. Drucker's gotten himself back up to 8th, as low as 11th so far tonight. And you can see right now, Drucker's back to where he started, and in fact, he's a little bit higher. The competition level here in Saturday Night Thunder is only increasing, and a lot of these drivers have FTN experience at New Hampshire. You might have seen him in other leagues. James Thurston, Chase Schaefer. Look down and you'll see, of course, Jack Drucker and Vinny Tigner. Those drivers have competed in other FTN series that have gone to this track. Big contact! Donahue, LaPlante, and a multitude of others, including Chris Tripp. It's your third caution of the day. What caused that? Let's find out. Trying to see what could have possibly been the cause of that incident. And pulling it down in slow motion. Doesn't look like anything starts with Robinson Company, but it's going to be the 82 of Donahue. Okay, we'll take a better look at Aiden Donahue's perspective during this incident, and this should tell us the story. Aiden was behind Henry Kaloff alongside Ashton Miller. They were 3 wide, perhaps. One slides, it's going to be Miller. Miller into Donahue. And then the wreckage ensues. LaPlante hits the 82 of Donahue, not able to get away. Bogensberger just able to get by. Donahue, Miller, LaPlante, and Chris Tripp's previous damage still there as the caution goes out again. It's your third of the day here, and Aiden Donahue involved. Take a look on board now with Donahue. Maybe would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that second hit. Nasty. On the front end right now, you can see clear damage. And if you look inside the cockpit, Looks like everything's repaired now thanks to a fast repair, but clearly some previous suspension troubles. Yellow is out again. Restart now set at lap number 17. Field's going to go double file once more for your third restart in 16 laps. Jordan Kuntz, 4th place. As they run, he's alongside Cole Wilson. Matthew Weeks and Brayton Hunsicker toe-to-toe. Biggest mover so far in this race? Well, let's talk about outside the top 10. Up 4 places, Kenneth Gurrell. Up 4, Daniel Silla. Up 5 is now Jordan Kuntz. Up 5, Chase Schaefer. And up 9 further back is Malachi Drake, going from 29th up now into the 20th position. Let's see what happens here as James Thurston gets another chance at the head of the board. Restart is all his, and they all have been so far. He's 3 for 3 on the night, and he's going to bring him into 1 and 2 without a shadow of a doubt. Thurston is all the way up there. He's got no chance of being bothered by Chase Schaefer yet. Wow, contact again. It's Vinny Tigner. Tigner slides through 2. Caution number 4. Take a look at what happened. Matthew Weeks slid, was able to save it, but it was Vinny Tigner who got the last bit of contact that shot him sideways. Very, very dicey situation. Let's see what happens here. And I actually want to see from the backside of Vinny Tigner because I think he got tapped slightly. That's what did him in. It was Daniel Silla there. And Connor James. He got the contact from James, though. One more time. This time, let's get a focus on Matthew Weeks. You can see there, he's already sliding as he comes in a frame. Weeks contact with Jordan Kuntz. That actually might have been his saving grace. He got straightened out and goes up the track. He's in control as that happens. Now, had he not been tapped by Kuntz, he probably would have been wrecked out. One more look. Gonna get a tighter look as it was Cole Wilson side by side with Weeks. A nudge. Connor James and Daniel Silla hit each other, but Matthew Weeks avoids that second leg of contact. It's really lucky, although right now he's in 21st and on pit road. That could have been significantly worse. Yellow flag number 4 in the first 20 laps of racing. Still not able to get a rhythm. We got 29 now on the lead lap. Matthew Fastnot out of this race, the first retiree of the event. Chase Schaefer locking up the outside as he falls about a car length back on Thurston. A little bit slower there through pacing. Don't want to see an incident. 20 out of 120. We'll have 100 laps to go when we return green. Take a look at the 78 right there. One down on the inside. That's Greg Holes, and it looks like he's going to get himself back together. No problems. He won't go to the end of the line. Chase Schaefer alongside James Thurston, looking for another chance to try to steal that lead, but so far James Thurston has given no one an opportunity. Green flag, all his, and look at that. Car length plus by the time they get through the start-finish line. Schaefer not able to get that defense on Braden Hunsicker, and the yellow flag is out for the 5th time. Paul Bogensberger, among a few others. Yellow flag is out again. A lockup. It was a checkup because of Asher Bunkley. Weeks hits Bogensberger. Nobody damaged as far as I'm aware. The caution's out. Watch it again. Bunkley dives quickly into the inside line. Bogensberger backs off. Weeks not able to back off in time. And Bogensberger slightly comes down here. Comes up. Matthew Weeks maybe a tag from Roger Sevier there, but nothing big. Riding on board with Matthew Weeks here. A small nudge. And a tap from Vinny Tigner. Not Roger Sevier. It looks like a little bit of contact, though, with Tigner. But it shouldn't be anything close to race ending. James Thurston is still your leader. And with all the restarts he's had, every opportunity any driver else tried to take on him, well, they haven't had really any luck of making much of it. Restarts will be single file henceforth. Adamans making the decision. The next restart you see, which will be your 5th of the day, will go 1 lane. So we're not going to have drivers doubling up. Expect that at about lap number 25 now. A caution on average every 5 laps or so. That's been the rate we've been running at to begin the night. Not the best start when it comes to clean racing, but still a lot of time for the field to pull it together. We did see some struggles last week at Auto Club as well. And by all means, drivers getting things back together. We haven't gone racing since November and December, the winter months here in SNT. So maybe still shaking a little bit of that rust off. But hopefully now, with all the yellows we've seen, drivers get that wake-up call. We can get back to going at it for a longer stretch. James Thurston, Chase Schaefer still able to protect as Braden Hunsicker goes 3rd, Cole Wilson goes 4th, and Jack Drucker is P5 here. Drucker, the last of the top 5 from 8th place in qualifying. Biggest movers in the top 10, Daniel Silla and Kenneth Correll. Both of them are up 7 places. They've gone alongside each other since the beginning of this race, starting 16th and 17th respectively. They now run 9th and 10th, so they are in identical situations with each other, still drilling through the field. They're coming up on Christian Hertlotz next. See if they get a chance to do anything. Green flags out. Thurston's got it again. Not as strong a run, but it doesn't have to be. First single file restart of the day, and no competition to his preferred inside line. He's using the apron better than anyone else. Chase Schaefer drops it down to the inside, and now finally the distance is cut. Can he keep it that way, or now is it going to be time for Thurston to expand it? Let's take a look on board and find out. Very different lines as we watch on board for this past lap. You can see here down to the inside, Chase Schaefer goes, but he doesn't dive as deep into the apron as James Thurston decides to. For Schaefer, he's trying to get a little bit of a better run on the outside and prioritize that, while Thurston instead has been really working the entry. Right now, after a few laps under green, though, it looks like there is a little bit of an advantage right now for Chase Schaefer. Schaefer, using the second line, is bringing a few others with him, including Drucker and Hunsicker. Asher Bunkley out of this race. And it looks like that will be a disqualification for the 92 team. First of the day, and I believe the first of the season as well. Thurston's still going to hang on and keep the lead here. But Schaefer definitely able to pull things together and keep that distance tight. Jack Drucker passing Braden Hunsicker, putting the Hunsicker machine now in P4. Cole Wilson now with the opportunity to put the paint on and try to take another spot from the 22. Wilson and Hunsicker now in their third seasons respectively. James Thurston and Chase Schaefer on and off in this series since 2024. Jack Drucker is in now his sixth career race. A lot of different positions these drivers are in with one another, but expertise aside, they're all running at remarkably similar paces. The only driver who seems to have a cut and dry advantage, though, is James Thurston, without a doubt. I think from second down to about seventh or eighth, these drivers are nearly identical to each other in terms of speed, down to where Cameron Chandler is right here. Herklotz, Daniel Silla, and now Rick Spencer-Walt are a little bit slower, and you can see they're dropping off just a tad bit, but not enough for it to be a significant problem for them anyway. They're still within the leading draft, and they won't have to worry all too much just in case they fall behind, because they still have a lot of distance to the back of the field. This heart of the pack up in front, though, the upper half, they're really close to each other on pace. One mistake could be a difference maker, and Jack Drucker is looking for it right now from Chase Schaefer. He hasn't yet found it, but Drucker, again, is a driver who builds as a race goes on. He qualified in 8th place, and he and Jordan Coots have both been able to make gains inside the top 10, bigger than anyone else so far. Cameron Chandler is up 5 from 12th to 7th on a similar pace to the drivers we're talking about here, but he qualified out of the top 10. It's very challenging to start up front and then keep pushing. Oh, contact there. Clear contact. Schaefer given the chrome horn. I don't want to say or think that was intentional, but Drucker clearly drove in there with more speed and sends the message. Sends it again, as a matter of fact. Now it's clear as day. He wants around Chase Schaefer. Better yet, he wants it fast. Take a look to the inside. Jack Drucker dropping low again. Inside the cockpit for Chase Schaefer, you'll see he still has some clean track as Thurston pulls away. Drucker's still trying to find some room. Now pulling around the outside, Drucker toe-to-toe. Can he get clear using that second groove? Looks like he's going to be intentionally, oh yeah, clear as day now. These drivers are really at each other, taking up the track. And Schaefer's going to close the gap again. Defensive driving 101 as Chase Schaefer is going to make sure Drucker can't get through. Yellow flag, 6th of the day, the 78 of Greg Holes. Watch this replay. Single car spin. Rest of the field able to get away from that one. It's a safety yellow. Caution's out for Greg Holes in the 78. We take a look aboard for Greg. See if anything in particular caused it. Yeah, just overcorrecting on the way out. One car incident. Luckily, nothing too detrimental. So we'll keep on moving. Caution flies for Greg Holes as few drivers, in fact more than a few, decide to head to pit road. It's going to be led by James Thurston. Everyone is in. Pit road is the place to be. The hot spot right now led by the 96. Watch what happens. 4 tires and fuel set to be the recipe. On the way out, Schaefer, Matthew Weeks beats Schaefer. Then it's Jack Drucker, Cole Wilson, Braden Hunsicker, Cameron Chandler, Jordan Kuntz, Herklotz, Roger Sevier, and Rick Spencer Walt just barely beat out by Henry Kaloff, with Ashton Miller wrapping up the top 15. Thurston comes out in front, and now it's going to be 2 drivers who stayed out. Bogensberger coming this time by, and with him was the 12 of Vinny Tigner. Tigner, however, will decide to lead a lap and remain out on the racetrack. Vinny went to pit road 18 laps ago, so about halfway through the laps we've run so far, and is the only driver at the head of the field who decided to miss the current pit stop cycle. Matter of fact, the only driver still on the racetrack who did not go down in this cycle. Playing his cards a little bit differently than everyone else, it'll be Vinny Tigner leading for the first time tonight, 37 laps in, out of 120. Matthew Weeks, Jack Drucker, Braden Hunsicker on the inside behind Tigner. See what happens now if they try to avoid, or Vinny can get a good enough launch where he doesn't jeopardize anyone else. Old tires, very difficult to deal with on a track like New Hampshire, but Vinny gets a good enough jump to get ahead of James Thurston. Green flag's out. It's going to be Vinny, only to get crossed under. James Thurston immediately taking that spot from him, and as soon as he loses first, he's about to lose second. Vinny feels the pressure. Without a doubt, drops back to third. Everyone else gets away. No issues at the front. We'll keep on moving. Now, but Chase Schaefer actually able to get the race lead. He isn't able to hang on out of turn 4. Nice run out for James. He'll get up to the top of the board. 3 wide now. Hunsicker, Herklotz, Matthew Weeks. Right alongside one another again. Everyone coming up on Vinny Tigner. Tigner is going to almost be like a little bit of a roadblock now because he is simply slower. Just because he's on old rubber. Very hard to maintain speed when you have less traction. And right now, even though he's got the inside line, he's got the preferred groove, the only thing that could save him just happened. Oh, multiple incidents at once. Erdman and Sevier, and it looked like Ashton Miller. But I think the caution came out even before they spun. Let's watch this. That is your 6th of the day. Yellow flags have been as common as ever tonight. We take our eye in the sky to figure things out. Oh, it's Daniel Silla. It started with Daniel in the number 6 before the multiple spins you saw on camera beforehand. Watch this. It was the number 6 car who saw trouble to begin with. The 6 and the 54, Bradley Robinson made contact. Daniel lost control, and luckily he actually gets away better just because he bounced off the 54. Then the second set of incidents happened. CJ Erdman and company will play it back to show that as well. Erdman here with Ashton Miller and Tyler Sevier going around after the yellow flag flew. They might have checked up, knowing the yellow came out, and checked up off the end of the corner, which caused them to go around. Oh, Miller got into Erdman. That's a very, very common problem here in New Hampshire. Loose out of 4, snapping back. It caught Erdman really poorly. Ashton Miller, he's going to actually get away a little bit better. Same situation as what we saw in the first set of spins. Driver who first went around actually gets lucky and gets away. 42 laps in out of 120. The caution is out again. James Thurston will restart leading. We get back to work. Bringing him back up to speed for our 43rd lap of racing. It's about time. Thurston, Schaefer, and right behind him, Cole Wilson, are back at it. We're getting closer to halfway, slowly but surely. Green flags out. Thurston gets out there. And look at that. Chase Schaefer now going to just have to wheel through, wheeling with the best of the rest. Sliding one around. Who is that? It looks like we got trouble. Daniel Silla cautions out. Silla, who was involved in the previous one, now involved in both caution 6 and 7. Rick Spencer Wald, he was right alongside. Toe-to-toe, nudged, and drops. 44 laps in, 7th yellow flag. Number 6 Fastenal car, Daniel Silla, primarily involved alongside Rick Spencer Wald. Take a look on board here. A nudge, falls out. Caution is out again. Daniel Silla. So, field gets set to go once more. Got 2 laps until we go green. That was a very small incident, so not much else to look back at, as we will go green for lap 47 now. 7th caution in these opening laps. On pace right now for a tricky amount of what could be over 15 if we don't see the field get its act together. Conditions, by the way, let's talk about those and see if they've changed at all. Not quite. As a matter of fact, the track temperature has gotten a little bit nicer for the field. We're looking at 90 degrees Fahrenheit and a relative humidity exactly the same. So I am a little bit surprised to see what we've been seeing in that the field is really not getting to grips well with what's going on the track. A lot of slide outs, a lot of multi-car contact, and a little bit less typical what we see out of drivers, even when they're struggling here at New Hampshire. A lot of the times, the struggles are one-time things with only 1 or 2 drivers, but multiple times now we have seen big chain reactions that have seen a lot of drivers knocking into each other. Let's head back at it for 47. Chase Schaefer is going to continue trying desperately to be the first of the drivers. Get there and snatch a lap away under green. He already has 1 lap led, but it has been a fight to even have a shot against the 96. So far, even to get 1 lap from James Thurston has taken nearly half the race, and really no one has shown any consistent fight quick enough to get there. Green flags out again. Single file restart sees the field coming out of turn 4. Back of the field doing the exact same thing you see there. No problems. The field is green, and we're on our way for our 7th restart of the night. Vinny Tigner going to get a saving grace again. Remember that he's on old tire, and he has only stopped dropping positions because we've stopped having chances to race for them. Yellow flags have really been helping him out. Rewind, Rick Spencer-Walt now alongside multiple others. Kenneth Gurrell going to squeeze one high. They have just enough room. And Gurrell getting lucky. So is the number 2 of Knox Thompson. Rick Spencer-Walt the fastest in that endeavor, and he will be able to get away just barely, only to get crossed in 3 wide. Big slide up there for Chase Schaefer. Mistakes across the board. Now coming down to the start-finish line, James Thurston barely leads that lap. I think that was just about 4 thousandths of a second. That was the difference between the top 2 at the line. Wow. Chase Schaefer now definitely putting in the pressure, and it looks like he's got a chance to go clear this time. He wobbled, but that was the only fault. Now, coming out of 3 and 4, looking at him going up high, Thurston gets the best out of his car, driving hard out of 4, but this time through, clearly just a little bit further back. Now, Chase Schaefer getting something, and it looks like he's got a better rhythm. James Thurston tries again to go low, using that apron strategy, but for once, there's a driver standing right back up to it. Thurston's going to concede. Chase Schaefer is clear for the race lead, and for the first time in 50 laps, looks like now he's got a real competitor to deal with. He gets out of the corners again, turn 4. James Thurston at the line, just slightly ahead, 22 thousandths as the tide shifts, and Chase Schaefer no longer up there. He's going to end up falling back in line and clear. Meanwhile, Cole Wilson, Jack Drucker, and Cameron Chandler now are all tied up in the mix, and they are very, very close to getting themselves directly involved. Thurston right now is using the apron and just barely getting the drive off the corner. Chase Schaefer looking better and better each time by, and for every lap that Thurston has led in this run, Chase Schaefer has been able to get him right back. And the line that time, it was 1/1000th. These two are just about even on each other each and every time by now. Side by side again. Schaefer just a little bit better with the drive off the corner. He's putting a little bit less work rotating the car, using the banking to his advantage. He travels a little bit more, but he gets more speed out of it, and that's all he needs to take the lead again. Thurston now seeing no help. Cole Wilson instead going to the outside and trying to help out Chase Schaefer. Thurston's got to worry about getting a nudge there from Cole Wilson. That is the perfect placement for the 96. Wow, look at that. Just a bump from Wilson. And the energy in that 96 rejuvenated. Thurston, lead again. Lead swap after lead swap after lead swap. Cautions out, 8th time tonight. And it involves Michael Deitch. Let's take a look. Now the battling up in front has gotten exciting. A little pause in the action as Deitch, attitude is loose. Drop in, the caution flies. Let's take a look on board just for a second look, in case we missed anything about it, but it looks like a cut and dry case snapping off the corner. And basically that's what it was. Deitch getting out of it, no damage, just scuffed tires, so he should be able to continue on as we head green. Thurston drops in. He's in pit road again. Chase Schaefer, though, will decide to go out. So a little bit of a difference now in strategy, as for the first time tonight, Thurston will voluntarily give up some position. He's going to be beaten off pit road there by Malachi Drake. Following him is Vinny Tigner. There's Rick Spencer-Walt, Knox Thompson, Matthew Weeks, and John Meeks. With a few others there, including Michael Deitch and Roger Seaver. Interesting call, and it's a very fast call for these drivers. Chase Schaefer takes the lead. Now, the last time these guys went down to pit road was about 20 laps ago, so not a long time. But what I'm starting to think is Thurston is looking at going all the way, meaning no cautions from here on out for him that he'll go down to pit road. We're 55 laps in out of 120. If we go green from here, that would be about 64, 65 laps of racing. So it's possible to go all the way if you save your fuel with a few yellow flag laps. I think that's what Thurston is now betting on, and he's going to be one of the very few drivers to risk it, go in for a final pit stop before the halfway mark. Let's see what that does. Chase Schaefer is going to try something here. He'll stay out, and he will lead the rest of the field. And for the first time tonight, I think, Schaefer will not have to worry about losing the lead as soon as he gets it. iRacing pace car drops low. Schaefer's got it. Green flags out. He'll have Cole Wilson, Jack Drucker, Cameron Chandler, and Braden Hunsicker all behind him as the field is on its way again. Everyone gets out to a strong start here, fighting in the back half of the top 10. Jordan Kuntz is going to be with Aiden Donahue, Paul Bogensberger, and Greg Holes trying to get a top 10 position locked in firm. Further up is going to be Kenneth Carell with Connor James and Henry Kaloff. Exciting times for the field as the 63 of Kaloff now gets a chance to really show what he's got. From 19th up to 7th tonight, Henry is now up a total of 12 positions, and when you look at the statistics anyhow, it'll explain that he's on strategy caution. Greg Holes all the way down and in. Did he escape contact? That might be the not only luckiest, but the best save of the season. We're still green, and I think Greg Holes was able to avoid contact by the smallest sliver possible. Hang on, look at this. The 78 of Holes gets beyond lucky. We're going to pull it back and watch regularly. Then we're going to try to see the distance. Green flag still out. And Holes loose. Contact with Donahue. Oh, he nudges it. Oh, just barely. But almost right in line with the inside retainer. And that's going to save him a lot of time on pit road. Watch this. From the nose camera, which will give you a better view of how close it really was. And he skates in right in line. And toes the line nearly perfect. So Holes is able to get away from that with just a scratch. Still a long ways away from the field now, but with 60 laps to go, better far behind than out of contention. Halfway down, halfway remaining. Cole Wilson all over the back bumper now, Chase Schaefer, and it looks like here Schaefer's got himself some new rivals to deal with. Out goes Thurston, who's been doing a lot of work and putting that pressure on for everyone. Oh, look at that. Down and in. It's Cole Wilson's time. Wilson's going to slide up, take the race lead, but he's going to wash up the track, and that slide job is going to help Schaefer out. Now Chase gets the lead again, working on the inside of that corner. It's the cause and effect. A hard drive for the 22 is promptly counteracted. And just a little bit of a wiggle up high here. Schaefer is able to defend once more. 59 laps to go. And now Jack Drucker may be trying to get something there on Cole Wilson. Couldn't quite get it that time by. Braden Hunsicker watching. Now it's just drivers putting pressure on one another. Look who's here, though. James Thurston. Thurston now up into 8th. And remember, he went down to pit road already. So what's the game plan? Dropped in. He already decided to head through. How is he going to find his way up to the front and save fuel? That's a hard dilemma to deal with because that's multiple things being done that are probably opposite to each other when you think about it. He's going to try and compete to take that spot and then make sure that he doesn't ruin his chances. Yellow flags out. That is your 9th. And it looks like the yellow flies again. The 51 having some damage. That is Jamie Lockwood. Let's see if it involved the 51 here. Clearly not, but as we take it up the track, there's where the incident lies. John Meeks. Meeks in the 24, side by side with CJ Erdman. Not sure what that was about. He just locked up, and a safety caution is called. Take a look one more time. I want to say something happened with his equipment because he did not turn that fast, but you could see the wheel suddenly pivoted straight out. Watch this. Slow motion. And you'll see he's clearly turning it down to the inside. And all of a sudden it goes straight center. He tries to correct it. And a freak incident that luckily doesn't cause any big damage for anyone. Drivers heading to pit road. Jack Drucker stays out, but Chase Schaefer decides to drop in. Again, from this point onward, every driver can make it to the very last portion of the race, if they decide to. .55 laps to go. Schaefer gonna lead out. Ashton Miller, Roger Sever. You got the 22 there. Cole Wilson quickly after Cameron Chandler, and the 4, Connor James. This will leave Jack Drucker up and ahead. Drucker will restart as your leader when the field goes green with about 53 laps to go. .54 to go. Single file restart still in effect. Rick Spencer Walt now up to 6th. And this is one of the highest spots he's been in all night long. As a matter of fact, it is the highest. And his first chance to fight for a top 5 spot. Rick Spencer Walt, he's made some big moves. Henry Kaloff, 19th up to 4th. Got to watch out for him. The flagship driver tonight for Kaloff Deitch Racing. While it's been a back and forth event for them with some rocky circumstances early we talked about, it looks like Kaloff has been able to get himself out of all that trouble. Really, he hasn't had to worry about that, not one bit. So, we'll see what he can do now as we are back in action all over again. Field will go green. Watch now as they all chase after Jack Drucker, who for the first time tonight is your race leader. He's got the keys to the kingdom, and he holds his own while James Thurston is quick to fight, and I can't believe it. He's already back up here. Didn't take him all too long, and he drove most of the way up just from the back of the field. Now, we'll see if it's a whole lot easier as he started this run in 3rd. Already takes 1 spot. Big contact. Ashton Miller up the track. Most of the field luckily avoids him. That is your 10th yellow flag of the night. Miller and the caution. Let's see this. Ashton Miller here, right alongside Cole Wilson. And it is toe-to-toe. as they head down the back straight. What happens here? Well, quickly you're about to find out. Just a nudge. That sends Miller up, and I think Michael Deitch maybe avoided him. Yeah, not a lot of front end damage, and a lucky scenario for Miller, but he still washes up and loses all of his track position. Take a run on board, 52 laps to go, and take a look at what it was like for Miller to watch that all play out. Let's see what happens here. You could see it turned. Michael Deitch just avoids him. Sideswiped on the front. I'm not sure how much damage that's going to give. But Miller turned around. Caution's out. Ashton drops low. On pit with him right now is John Meeks, Jamie Lockwood, and Roger Sevier as your leading man is, of course, Jack Drucker still. Drucker not given enough time to really fight with anyone, so he didn't relinquish that spot. He's in control. The battle continues with less than 50 laps remaining this time by. Wondering what's yet to come, of course. Still hoping not to see any of those yellow flags consistently derail the schedule of this race. If we can go green from here, we still got a lot of time to put something great together. Jay Schaefer up to second. Well, that's his goal. He's right now in 8th. His rival, James Thurston, is P2. Braden Hunsiker's 3rd. Henry Kaloff still maintains in 4th. Paul Bogensberger has gone from 31st to 9th. Unbelievable. He's doing a great job in there. And the number 15, who has been in some trouble early, has been able to escape it by and large and now has one more shot to keep going up the ladder. Green flags out. It's Jack Drucker all the way, bringing the field back up to speed as Chase Schaefer pulls out, and he's already looking for a spot. Matthew Weeks decides he'll stay a little bit higher here. Will he get some defense from Tigner? Not quite, but Schaefer is quick enough now to get a pass on the number 11. I mean, the pace of play at the front of the field has been fantastic tonight. If we'd been able to avoid all the wrecks, I'm sure we would have had at least a few more laps run under green so far, but also I'm sure we would have seen Chase Schaefer and Thurston going at it right about now, but instead it looks like Thurston's now got a chance, and he will get there side by side with Jack Drucker. Drucker goes up high, maintains the line he had. Thurston will break in down low, and using the opening that every driver has given him so far tonight, Thurston is by and large better at the Magic Mile, and it shows with a move like that. Last time James Thurston raced at New Hampshire on FTN, he came out the winner when the FORL Cup Series went there in Season 3. It was with the Next-Gens, but he led the entire second half of the race and ended up winning by more than 15 seconds. An unbelievable gap against drivers in that field, including River Page and Chase Schaefer and Henry Kaloff and Michael Deitch and company, all guys who are in the field today. Now, he hasn't yet been able to break out to a monstrous advantage over everyone, but he still has that speed. And whether you're ahead by 15 seconds or a second and a half, you're still up there leading. Dropping into the mix in a top 5 is Rick Spencer Wall, but now Chase Schaefer is going to do what James Thurston has been doing and get himself locked and loaded on the inside and make that spot his. Couldn't get it that time by. Does get it through out of turn 4 though, and now Henry Kaloff is going to feel the pressure. Kaloff in the 63 still eyeing his second career SNT win. Comes several seasons in the waiting for him now. Hoping to find that chance at a non-superspeedway circuit. A victory in the trucks when it was Talladega, the final season we ran the trucks. And since that point, he's been vying for opportunity. Hasn't yet found a chance to really make his own. Schaefer now down low. This will be for the 4th place. It'll be Braden Hunsicker just ahead of him, the final man of the podium. Rick Spencer-Wald also seeing Jordan Kuntz now. Kuntz trying to get himself up into the top 10 for the first time in this last run. He's been up and down today, not necessarily the fastest, but he has been low, and he's gotten away from that. He has been very, very low. 29th place, the bottom of the field, basically. Since that point, he's been able to get himself right back up to just about where he started, as high as 5th when it all began. See what's going on, as a matter of fact, from his perspective. Jordan Kuntz giving us a ride on board, and we can also see his driver telemetry, which really gives us the whole story. Some drivers shifting gears. Jordan Kuntz definitely not one of them there, as he takes it all the way down to the inside on the apron and watches as the number 4 getting very loose. That was Connor James. Out of 4 again. Coming up now, and Henry Kaloff, who is dropping back just a bit. And Jordan Kuntz is one of the few drivers now who has decided to adopt that strategy of tucking in and letting it ride. Using that apron, not easy at all. Thurston, of course, having mastered it, finds himself in his own unique class relative to everyone else. Here's Connor James, the 22 of Cole Wilson, alongside one another. And it looks like just a nice enough run for James to get there on Wilson. Cole's going to get a block, though. No dice for the number 4. Braden Hunsicker shot up the track as he tries to get up there. Can't quite put a fight to it. Chase Schaefer is about 1.5 seconds now away from leader James Thurston and runs inside the podium. He has cut down most of the gap that has been, of course, the bane of his running so far this season. And of course, now James Thurston with a bigger gap than he's had on Schaefer than at almost any other point in this race. While Chase is again in the podium, it's not the same look as being right there side by side or door to door. And instead, it looks like so far Thurston's gamble has paid off, and the dividends are showing in how he has control and has the race lead. Ideally anyway for Thurston, from this point onward, he sees more green flag laps. Let's explain why that's going to help him out as we take a look at the strategy and, of course, the stint times of each driver. Thurston, 28 laps since his last pit, gives him a comfortable advantage over Jack Drucker. Drucker's not going to be a big problem for him. What may become a big problem, though, is the man, of course, right after. That's, of course, Chase Schaefer. Schaefer tonight is getting closer and closer on younger tire because he went in a little bit earlier than James Thurston, and then cycled out later by going in again. Thurston deciding to go in and almost doing it in isolation was interesting. Nevertheless, right now, Schaefer's got the edge as he just played the massive strategy of the entire field as opposed to the independent running of James Thurston. But right now, Thurston's gamble has paid off. "37 laps to go." Coming to 36 this time by, Jack Drucker is approaching his 50th lap on this stint, and I think he's one of the very few drivers up and ahead who are in an unstable, or rather, untimely position in terms of getting to the end of this race on strategy. 36 laps to go. Jack Drucker seeing Schaefer just slightly tap the back end. Here comes the 41. Schaefer for second here, dropping low. Jack Drucker going to give him that room there, of course. Drucker's protecting his own line, not going to try to get involved with any aggressive measures. Maybe, perhaps too early for him to do that. I think the biggest hope now for Drucker is that he gets a yellow within the next 10 to 15 laps, and ideally it happens 10 to 15 laps from now. The later on you get the yellow flag in a situation like this, the better, to a point. With about 5 laps to go, I doubt these guys are going to go down for the caution, but in 15 to 20 laps, when you're the midway point through a strategy run and you have the rest of the race ahead of you, well, honestly, there's an upside to both ways. You could go for track position, or instead, you could go and try to get a little bit better rubber. It's a gamble, and it's a big one. But look now, as Chase Schaefer sees a lot of competition from guys on new rubber as well. Here's Jordan Kuntz, here's Connor James, here's Cole Wilson, who all just swallowed him up and took him a few steps down, and fast. Going to be a saving grace for Jack Drucker, but you know who loves that the most? Not on the screen right now, James Thurston. That's the move that Schaefer was, of course, not hoping to see. Now he really finds himself in trouble as all the work he's done is getting put to the wayside, and he's getting really swallowed up. James Thurston gets away. Jordan Kuntz now puts the pressure on Schaefer. Cole Wilson up to third. Does Wilson have Jack Drucker's speed? We're about to find out. And of course, a great job from Jack Drucker. He is out here on the oldest set of anyone in the top 10 and is convincingly running in second, with now 4 drivers behind him, all looking to take his place. I don't think he's going to have it for much longer, but he is still as fast as he needs to be to maintain this spot over nearly everyone in the field. Drucker's a great driver. He's really going to show it again this year. I'm sure of it. He already has a win under his belt as a part-time driver, but as one of the rookie contenders, I think he is the strongest that we've seen so far. I may be wrong. We have some good guys here who are making it on the up and up, but Jack Drucker has the potential to really wow this field, and I think it's going to be very similar to what Wilson, Hunsaker, Cameron Chandler did last year. Keep your eyes out for these guys who are coming on the way up. Jack Drucker, of course, with a year of FTN experience, racing very competitively in the Integrity Ignite Series. That's a very, very difficult field to race in well, and he has a win there, so that means a lot. Look at this, though. Chase Schaefer, seeing the short-term pressures start to subside, he will get away. He's got himself now in third again, 3 wide, right behind Connor James. Jordan Kuntz backs off. He'll give James the room on the inside. I think Kuntz right now is hoping that everyone gets away and gives himself any trouble. Schaefer now to the outside of Jack Drucker. It's 3 wide behind and below them. 5 battles with separate drivers, of course, in each and every one of them. Now Jack Drucker gets himself put back to third as Kuntz wiggles, and Drucker, who is still fighting with an unbelievable 56 laps on his stint, is in third. But I think that's going to come to an end, and his podium days will surely numbered here at New Hampshire. 28 laps to go. Top 10 is separate by about 6 seconds. Rick Spencer-Walt, the last of which here. You'll see him on the back end of Vinny Signer. Aiden Donahue, 28 up to 11, the largest sustainable heavy mover of the day, was gone up 17 in a huge night for him. Like it or not, Jack Drucker is still putting in a lot of defense to maintain third. Looking at it going on right now, the 4 of Connor James, well, he's got himself a wiggle again. While he's faster, he might just be faster by virtue of that big equipment advantage. It looks like Drucker still has the technique to really keep these guys on their toes. And even Jordan Kuntz, a driver who's fast everywhere, I don't think he's got the experience perhaps to back it up as well as maybe the intermediates or the 2-mile tracks where he is always on. That's his bread and butter. A track like New Hampshire not so much. And that's the difference between Kuntz and Thurston tonight, especially when we think about those two in context to each other. Thurston is great at New Hampshire, and he has a track record for it. A lot of these guys, not quite. They're naturally fast, but they're really learning on the fly. They're reading the textbook, and they're writing it at the same time. They don't have history to really go back on. This might be, for some guys, their first race in New Hampshire. Jordan Kuntz 3 wide again now. With the 4, Connor James. Cole Wilson just behind. It is 3 wide for third. Jack Drucker is still hanging on. He is a straight-up competitor. To have such a big disadvantage and still be fighting. Jordan Kuntz is now right there with him. It looks like Kuntz is going to be slightly quicker at the line. No, Jack Drucker still in third. Unbelievable 0.02 of a second alongside Connor James there. When will he quit? I think the answer is he doesn't intend to. Contact, Kuntz, down, in, he'll save it. Wow, look at that. And Drucker is still there. Can you believe it? And look who's there now. Cole Wilson. Make that 4 wide, and look who's got a shot. Cameron Chandler. This is the biggest battle on the racetrack and perhaps the most consequential, as these drivers are all on each other. Schaefer has gotten away, but if you're fighting for third, well, I'll tell you this much, it is far from an open and shut case. Contact! Connor James down and in. The caution's out. What an amazing battle to this point, but it ends with big trouble. Connor James, with 22 laps to go, goes around. Oh, just some contact from Chandler and gets nudged into Cole Wilson. Wilson, James around, and the yellow's out. Amazing running for both of them. Jack Drucker will get his wish of a caution at the perfect time, and it happens right behind him. On board from Connor James' perspective, and now on board from the perspective of Cole Wilson. Two of the strongest competitors at the head of the pack all night long. Now with damage, but look at this. Everyone comes in. Jack Drucker gets what he wanted, but the battle is between Schaefer and James Thurston for 1 and 2. Aiden Donahue looks like he's coming out of pit road before anyone else. A big gamble for him. Schaefer is beaten by Thurston still. It'll be Donahue, Thurston, Schaefer, Jack Drucker, Braden Hunsicker, Cameron Chandler, Ashton Miller, Vinny Tigner, Rick Spencer-Walt, and Matthew Weeks, your top 10. Donahue will quickly be passed, and it looks like the 82 either relinquishes the lead or, well, we'll see what happens here. Interesting. Donahue gonna drop back to P2 there. Field is set to go green with 20 laps remaining. And when we go green this time by, we are set to crank it up. It's about time we get live and loud with our first double file restart of the second half. Cameras tonight brought to you by our friends at Whiplash SimCams, the best in the business, without a doubt. Visit their Discord server to learn more about what they have to offer, including sample camera packs and their pricing structure. It's only $5 per car and track package. With TV quality visuals, there's no better place to go. Once again, that is Track Horse Whiplash SimCams. Track cameras, car cameras, everything you need. Whiplash, brought to you by Pit Stop TV. We're going to go crank it up this time by with 20 laps remaining. It'll be 19 when they set it off again, led by the 96 of James Thurston. It is a sprint from this point onward as we get back in action. Down to the inside goes James Thurston with Aiden Donahue, Chase Schaefer, and Braden Hunsicker seeing the green flag. We're on our way. Green flag's out. Let's crank it up from New Hampshire. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Contact. Donahue will save it. We're still green. Oh, we're not green any longer. Yellow flag's out. Wow, what a hit. And a big wreck. The caution due to fly. Watch this. Taking a look at that incident before any call is made, as somehow they all actually got out of it, and we are still green. Rick Spencer Walt into Erdman, and up the track goes the 94, and yeah, he gets straight. Lucky to be straight as he gets out of that. Rick Spencer Wald also with a heavy hit. And the call on the field is that for now we will continue even with that nasty contact. Nevertheless, it's about time that we crank it up. Yellow flags out. Connor James the cause. Let's take a look. And an instant replay on the number 4 who immediately retired after the contact. Heading down the back straight without issue. Alongside Jack Drucker. As they came into turn 4, just a nudge sends the 4 sliding into Drucker and cleared out with big contact down the front straightaway. Yellow is out, race over for Connor James with 13 laps to go. So we'll have just about 10 laps remaining to finish the night. Cautions have stacked up for the majority of this race, but by all accounts, that was one of our longer green flag runs. James Thurston has been the undeniable dominant force of this race, at least so far though. I don't think that is set to change, and in fact, even though Chase Shavers had a few laps led, there's been a few drivers just to break the ice. Let's take a look at that laps led number for Thurston, see how high he's got it relative to everyone else. I think that tells the story right there. He is on pace to lead just under 100 laps on the day. He'll come in at about 94 the way things are going. Next time around, pace car lights will go off. Field will go green. At the helm is Thurston. Chase Schaefer, Vinny Tigner, Braden Hunsicker, Matthew Weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Watch for the back half of the top 10 to shuffle a little bit. You got drivers like Kuntz, Rucker, and a little bit ahead, Henry Kaloff, Christian Hertlotz, and Cole Wilson. Those drivers are in the bundle from 7th to 14th. All tightened up alongside one another, and they could shuffle big. Heading back to action, James Thurston wants to finish this one out 10 more times around the magic mile. Green flag flies. It's Thurston, Chase Schaefer, Vinny Tigner, Braden Hunsicker, Matthew Weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we said, all back up to pace as we're out and away again to finish it all at New Hampshire. Contact, Braden Hunsicker. That's going to give Matthew Weeks a spot, and it's going to give a second chance to Cameron Chandler. Pushing and shoving back and forth as Christian Hertlotz now gets up in the mix. Watch now as the drivers ahead go 3 wide. Wilson, Chandler, and Hunsicker don't want to jeopardize a good run with moments like that. Cole Wilson gets the edge. 9 laps to go, coming to 8 next time by. '96 of Thurston running away with 3/10 advantage now. Vinny Tigner takes third. It's going to be Vinny versus Matthew right now. Those drivers are the last in the podium. And for the first time all night long, Vinny is in the top 3. He has been far out of it for the majority of the night. He's gotten close to the top 5, but now is finally where he is, of course, hoping to stay, if not go a little bit more so. We'll see if he can get up to Chase Schaefer. Schaefer now has a real opportunity to bring things together and tighten it up with James Thurston. Caution's out with 7 laps to go. A final chance when we go green. Let's see what happened here as the yellow goes out. With the caution flying again, we're going to have less than 5 to go. And for the first time all night long, tricky to find out who it was. Yeah, Vinny Tigner got away from it, but it was Jordan Kuntz. It was Jordan Kuntz, the 99, one of your leading contenders early on, who gets a hit. Kuntz was low on the apron and trying to get a spot on Drucker. The transition on the apron is what got him, and he slid out of line. Yellow flags out for a safety caution. Roger in the 40 also spins and comes up the track. I think that was a harder hit, but that's not what caused the yellow. Let's look at that one too before we go green. Roger here, coming right out of turn number 2, and you see the 51 knocking him big time. Jamie Lockwood with contact. What could be the final caution of the day? One to green. We'll have a 4-lap run. This will not count as an overtime attempt or a green-white checkered finish. Another caution after this point will, however, be a green-white checkered attempt, and an overtime at that. So a yellow flag beyond this point will extend our race beyond the scheduled 120 laps that we were looking to put out tonight. We'll see what happens here. Set to go green. 4 laps to go. James Thurston, Chase Schaefer get away at practically the same speed. Everyone else left further behind. The battle for third rages on as Thurston gets away. Cole Wilson drops to the inside, and now he's got Matthew Weeks right up top on him, but it's still Vinny in P3. Cole's going to drop himself a little bit lower. Can't quite get the run, though. That's going to help out Vinny Tigner, both the 22 and 11 behind, as Braden Hunsicker is bringing up Cameron Chandler. Christian Herklotz in 8th. Bradley Robinson now up to 9th from 20th. And there's Ashton Miller, all tightened up with each other again. Malachi Drake up 15. We're going overtime. Yellow flag is out. The caution flies again. And we're going for our first green-white checkered attempt of the night. Look at that. 99 Kuntz barely avoids it, but it's the 77 of Tyler Sevier who gets involved. This will be the final caution of the night. Admin's making the call this season that we will no longer have 3 green-white checkered attempts. So we'll pull it back again for the replay, but that is a big rule change to look out for. 1 and only 1 green-white checkered attempt. Chris Tripp involved. Caution's out. So, no matter what, we're only going to have 2 more green flag laps. Caution is most likely not going to be pulled out again. And that's by and large just because we know now this will be the final run. Heading down the back straight and into the front, the tail end of the field now catching up. One last fight. Lap 100 we're at right now. Looks like we'll go green at lap 102. It'll be a 123 race in terms of laps, rather. Just a slight extension, not all too much. James Thurston getting his shot to win for the first time this season. Chase Schaefer, who was second in points and just behind Jordan Kuntz in Fontana, looking for a little taste of early season redemption. Why not now? Why not fight? Vinny Tigner, Cole Wilson, Matthew Weeks, 3, 4, 5 respectively. They're all getting dialed in. Here we go now, as down to the inside goes the iRacing pace car. Chase Schaefer watches, but he doesn't get a good enough jump. It's all Thurston into 1 and 2. Cole Wilson gets it to the inside, race over. Caution is out. This is it. James Thurston wins in Loudon. Winning off the back of a last-moment caution under green-white checkered conditions. Involved is a 78 who gets a nasty hit. Chris Tripp as well involved as the white flag is out. Greg Holes. Contact with Rick Spencer Walt up the track. That's it. Race is over. And so, with that said, James Thurston is set to come around the line. The only driver even near the iRacing pace car, the dominant man tonight, who leads a total of 96 laps. Driver number 96, winner from New Hampshire. And so, quite prematurely, the race ends. And unfortunately, the story of tonight's race was a lot of cautions. But for James Thurston, it wasn't a shadow of a doubt that he would be the winner after all. He'll come now to burn down the house as everyone else puts themselves away. Jack Drucker comes up to congratulate Thurston. At the end of the night, Drucker just outside the top 10 as they're blowing up on pit road. And Thurston gonna rip it down to finish off the day. Burning it down with a driver who so often is a rival, but off the track, these two have known each other forever. Thurston and Schaefer, first and second tonight. The motor explodes for the 96. And I think he's just about to jar it to finish off his celebration. Schaefer will get behind and push him back to pit road. Back to the pole position stall that he began the race in. It's James Thurston, dominantly winning from New Hampshire. You're watching live coverage on FTN Broadcasting of Saturday Night Thunder. After this message, we'll return with your post-race coverage, including results and podium interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
James Thurston, perhaps one of the best to do it here in Loudon, New Hampshire. He does it again. James ends up winning, and it'll be Chase Schaefer, Cole Wilson, and Vinny Tigner alongside Matthew Weeks, your top five. It's a dominant night for Thurston, who leads just under 100, and Chase Schaefer just behind him all the way through. Brayton Hunsticker goes 6th place, with 7th being Cameron Chandler. Christian Herklotz is P8, and Bradley Robinson is 9th, with Henry Kaloff then P10. Just after them, you'll have your 11th place driver Ashton Miller, and Jack Drucker is 12th, with Kenneth Carell 13th, and Malachi Drake on his return P14. John Meeks is 15th, with Rick Spencer-Wald P16. 17th place, Aiden Donahue. 18th, Michael Deitch. 19th is Jordan Kuntz, and P20 is Knox Thompson. After that, to round out the top 30, you'll have Tyler Sevier, Roger Sevier, Greg Holes, Chris Tripp, and Paul Bogensberger, the first driver one lap down, with CJ Erdman, Jamie Lockwood, Connor James, Daniel Silla, and Asher Bunkley for 30th, as Jerry LaPlante and Matthew Fastnot wrap up the final drivers who took to the green flag today. Carter Casey on race control. I mean, it's undoubtable. James Thurston is the man of the hour, so it figures we will speak to him first of everyone else. Let's get a word now from your race winner, driver of the 96, who else but James Thurston. And we're going to get of course, great opportunity to tune in with the 96. James, dominant again from a track you're very well known to be very good at. The last time we saw you race here on FTN was 2 years ago, where you led and won by 15 seconds. Not quite the case today, but still 96 laps led from the pole.
I mean, I might not have won by that much this race, but I feel like I had the pace to do that. I mean, good Christ. I don't know what got into me tonight, but I was just on it. I mean, just running that bottom lane, running it perfectly, to be honest with you. I mean, there was probably only 1 or 2 times where I really made a true mistake. And really, the only times that I did that was when I was looking in my mirror at my buddy Chase, because he was just hunting me down every single time we'd get a restart, and I was trying to protect from him. But just overall, super, super happy to win a race here in SNT. I feel like it's been a little bit too long since I've done that. First win of the season. I'm just I'm excited right now.
And I mean, you talk about it, you had the pace tonight, but do you know what in particular set you apart so differently from the rest of these guys?
I don't really know. I mean, the line that I was running, I mean, I guess you could call it pretty unique. I run pretty unique lines when I can. I'm sure you've seen that, running it at Pocono on the wall, running it here all the way down low. If I can find a weird line that works well, even if it's not the fastest, if it's just consistent, like if for some reason it usually ends up working better than like just a typical racing line. And I don't know. I just like running goofy lines. I think that's what set me apart tonight. Is just looking for what's going to work. Found something, and yeah. I mean, for some reason it just worked really well. We were able to capitalize finally. Led a lot of the race. I mean, I really felt extremely fast, which I mean, I know I'm usually pretty quick, but I felt like tonight I truly was really, really good. I'm just happy to have a really good, mistake-free, clean race where I led a lot of laps. I had some great battling too there. I have to shout out Chase. I have fun racing him every time we're on the track together. We had some crazy battling there, like halfway through or so. It's just awesome when you can race a guy super hard and he, is able to race you the same way back, and you don't end up in a wreck or, make him mad and they start calling you names and telling you got a big ego when they go on the race chat and say stuff worse than you. But, thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports, just really hoping we can go out and do this again a few more times.
Without a doubt, a strong return to form for the 96 team. Before we head to the Atlanta Mini Super Speedway, James, what do you think about that race? Maybe a chance to keep the good times rolling?
Oh, yeah, I don't see why not. I think that, if I can just keep this momentum up, make sure I don't get rusty like I was before. I think I'm shaking the rust off. Hopefully it stays off. I think when we go to certain racetracks, it depends on how the car drives, if I really vibe with it well. Tonight it just was so well. The car drove just the way I wanted it to. I was just able to do everything right. Sometimes the car just doesn't do that, and I don't really mesh with it. But yeah, overall, I mean, if we can just keep putting it together, just be clinical. That's all it is. Just do something good enough, consistent enough to be leading, and it ends up getting you the win sometimes. As funny as it sounds, but yeah, just again, thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. Just wow, I'm so happy to win.
Big win, big night for this team. James Thurston, dominant from New Hampshire. If you got any final shout-outs you'd like to send, of course, the floor is yours.
Man, just once again, thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. Murphy Esports as well, Cardano, Drip Drops, Moneta, everybody, even though they're not on my car tonight. Just everybody who's supported me. I'm just happy to get this thing done here, and I just the only thing I will say is I hope we can get some more green flag running in the other races we have this season, because tonight there was a lot of yellows, which kind of got frustrating. But uh, that's just personally. I just like to have more green flag running. But just thanks to you for broadcasting, and hopefully I can get some more interviews this season. I didn't get that many last season.
Getting the job done tonight, though, and getting things started very well at this circuit. James Thurston, 96 laps led for car number 96. Thank you for your time.
Hey, I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it came out right exactly at that number.
Oh, that's sweet. All right. Thank you so much.
With James Thurston on the way, waiting to get a word from Chase Schaefer and seeing if he's available. It looks like he should be. He's definitely online, just not with us in the SNT race room. So we'll give him a moment here and try to speak to your second place finisher. If not, we'll move on to Cole Wilson, who grabs his first podium of the season and one of his outright best finishes as he comes away in third place. Chase Schaefer now standing by with us, so we'll hear from the man who finished P2 right up next. And that is, of course, Schaefer here. Chase, strong night for you. If anyone was going to try to chase down James Thurston, it looked like you were maybe the only driver who had the speed to do it. But either way, still a great podium, and the points for you are racking up really well in these first two races.
I'm finally out of school. I can finally run a full league. So as long as I can make all these races, there's really no excuse for if I lose. If I lose, then I lose. You know me from IORA. You know that my excuse for never winning one of those championships is the fact that I've always had to miss a race due to other stuff. I don't have that excuse anymore. So I'm pretty pumped after that finish. Am I annoyed that half that race was a caution? Absolutely. Am I annoyed that I couldn't even, like, every single time I had an attempt to pass Thurston, there was a caution? Absolutely. But it is what it is. Still a good finish. Nothing happened. So I'm happy. I also had no practice too. Ended up second. So I'd call that a win. I was pretty happy with myself.
Without a doubt, starting in 7th here tonight, you had to work your way up, and it looks like things clicked later in the going. You had a lot of drivers all around you. I mean, you had Wilson, you had Hunsicker, you had Chandler, Jack Drucker. What was it like? A lot of drivers struggle with close quarters. You guys seem to pull it together very well.
I kind of just don't care when other people are around me. I race them hard and I will block the crap out of them. I don't care. If you're faster, you can get around me. That's kind of my mentality. And I have no sort of shame holding that. I know it can be annoying. I know people probably don't like racing me, but that's kind of how I am. It's always been how I raced, and I see no issue with that. I mean, and it's another way to where if they're trying to pass me because they have fresher stuff, if I, pull some moves where I'm clear, I'm doing this, I'm just literally just in the way. I have them burn their stuff up, and you know what? That's their own fault because I mean, I was able to set up passes with runs and stuff like that, and that's how you're supposed to do it. So I I like racing around other people. I didn't mind giving what's his face a little bump back. I guess I wasn't even trying to block him when I would kind of like early in the race when I think we were racing for second. I want to say his name was Jake. I honestly forgot, but I'd kind of enter in, and I was clear of him. I'd enter in, and but I'd kind of park it and lane up, and he kind of got in the back of me. And so once he actually got the side of me, he kind of doored me down the down the straight. So I was like, all right. I just kind of drove into three, got beside him, and then four, I just kind of just left him no room, kind of squeezed him out. So I have no reason racing like that. I think it's fun.
Well, I will have to ask you one thing. If it could have gone any different, do you think green flag runs or longer ones could have in any way helped you out?
Honestly, I think if it was me behind Thurston, maybe. But I think with the line he was running, I can't run that line. I can, but I can't. I can't run it as good as him. So I think with what he was doing, he would have gotten me on the long run unless I was able to, control my, my exits. But yeah, I mean, it was really Thurston to beat. I thought I could have gotten him on one of those restarts just because that all he was running was that bottom line. He didn't run anything else. So anytime he kind of strayed from that, he kind of struggled just a little bit. And so I don't know. It was definitely a thing. It just kind of hurt me, especially on that one long run where I did get clear. I just he Thurston was on older tires, but his temps were lower. We compared him; he was lower just because he was able to just do his own thing while I raced a bunch of other people. So it is what it is. Good race by him. But yeah, I'm excited about points, leading a championship for the first time in a long while.
Back on top, the number 41 team. And until, of course, we go racing again at the Atlanta Mini Super Speedway, if you got any final shout-outs you'd like to send, floor is all yours, Chase.
Just follow Monster Designs on Twitter. That's all I got. Or Chase Schaefer on Twitter. That's all I got.
Chase Schaefer, P2 on the day, and just a quarter second off victory when the checkered flag flew here in Loudon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Schaefer on his way. Last driver on the podium tonight, qualified 5th and finished 3rd. Small gains, but notable because this gives Cole Wilson one of his best career finishes. The 22 team back on the podium. Cole Wilson, 3rd tonight, and a strong result from New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of a wreck fest. Just happy to walk away with 3rd place. I mean, New Hampshire here, I think 2 seasons ago, my first podium. In S&T. I think it's my only. Maybe I've had one other game here. So I think I was the second, probably 3rd. Thurston and Schaefer were the only people that were really faster than me. Definitely wasn't like everybody's best friend. I was involved in a lot of contact. Ashton Miller and Brayden Hunsicker, and I apologize to them. I got into them. I got into Miller, spun him around, and I got into Hunsicker and moved him up. So I wasn't everyone's best friend, but just kept track position even when I was in a wreck. I got lucky on a restart and missed a big checkup. I went from 15th to 7th, so that was good, and then just picked them off. I was really good at sending it in 1 and 3 and sliding up and clearing, so I was able to move my way up to 3rd, and then unfortunately a caution came out. I wish we could have ended on the green, but I'll take a good finish and good points, finishing 4th and 3rd.
Points-wise, you talk about that. You're making your way up there, starting the season off very well. When it comes to this race, of course, James Thurston on a different level, but how important is it for you now just to look at the points game? Because it looks like that's going to be one of the biggest ways to make a championship run this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with no playoffs or chase, just have to take the result every week, even if it's not like a top 3, if just like a solid 8th place sometimes, when one of your competitors might DNF or something, especially like going next week to Atlanta. Anything can happen there on a super speedway. So just got to keep the nose clean, get to the checkered flag, hopefully not under caution anymore, but just get to checkered flag, finish best you can, and then look at it's a long season ahead of us still, so just got to be careful.
Cole Wilson, 3rd on the day and just 1 spot higher, but the standard is set high to start the season. Atlanta's up next. It's going to be the miniature super speedway. How do you feel about heading there?
I feel pretty good. Daytona, when we used to go here in Talladega, I felt like I was able to control lines pretty well and push well. Like you said, Atlanta's a little smaller. Might have to save a little bit of tire, and just stay out of trouble.
Let's see now if trouble avoidance can bring another podium or another strong run to the 22 team next week. Until then, Cole Wilson, any final comments you'd like to send out? We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I want to thank Team Chevy Motor Club teammates, especially Cameron Chandler. I was in a call with him the entire race, and then McConey set up shop and NGK Spark Plugs.
Cole Wilson battling through it, making his way up 5th to 3rd and taking his first podium of the season. Thank you for your time, Cole.
Thank you. Thank you for another great broadcast.
Wilson gets his best finish of the season so far. Chase Schaefer goes back-to-back on the podium and leads the points. But it's James Thurston who's the star of the show, leading 96 of 122 laps tonight. A phenomenal performance. and his first dominating drive of the year, most likely one of many to come through the season. However, that will bring an end to the night's coverage live on FTN Broadcasting as the Loudon Lobster 200 is over. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, its first ever SNT tour, has come to a close, and now from the west to the east, we go down south to Atlanta, Georgia for our next race at the Echo Park Speedway, which is next Saturday night. Until then, thank you for tuning in to tonight's coverage from the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway, live with Saturday Night Thunder, the second race of the year. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoy this coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Congratulations to race winner James Thurston for his first of the year. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a great night.
10 weeks. One champion. It all comes down to this. Brace yourself. 350 horses on a rampage. The Outlaw Dirt Series Sportsman Modifieds are coming to Shaggy TV. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, the Sportsman Modifieds will roar to life across 10 of iRacing's amazing dirt tracks, starting at Lanier and ending at Oswego. You just gotta be there. Cherry Cinematography, specializing in iRacing photography, has deals to suit all your needs. With deals like 5 for 10, 10 for 20, 15 for 30, and 20 for 60, you cannot go wrong. You can reach out to Carson Cherry 226 on Discord. That's CARSON Cherry 226.
You feel the ground shake. Your bones begin to rattle. You hold on for dear life. 280 foot-pounds of torque is coming your way. It's the TFG Sport Compact Series, dropping 168 horsepower with 2 front wheels of squealing. Every night's a beatdown.
The TFG Sport Compact Series is coming back to Right Rear Racing on Friday, December 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Watch it live on YouTube with Right Rear Racing TV as the Jettis clash at historic Nashville Fairgrounds. 2 Fat Guys Sim Racing promotions, where the challenge remains unique.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
You have something in your mind, you are able to create it, build it, and then someone from the other side of the world came and tell you that they want to spread this product to 50 countries in the world, so it's a huge personal achievement.
Welcome to the Underdog Racing Podcast, where we talk to NASCAR drivers from all over the great country of America. Each week, we chat about the latest races, share stories from the track, and get to know the drivers behind the wheel. We break down the action, hear from drivers about their experiences, and dive into what drives them to keep racing. Whether you're a longtime NASCAR fan or just curious about the sport, this is the place for you. So tune in to the Underdog Racing Podcast, your inside look at the world of NASCAR. Catch us every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern.